So if you have a good relationship, always anything can be solved, even if you are at a wrong end of things, and you have to solve situations. People believe you and people trust you because you have built that relationship, right? And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes some time, but you have to put conscious effort. Some of my leaders used to tell me that put conscious effort in building a relationship, right? In the kind of roles we are, as leaders we need to build relationships on a constant basis, and that helps you. And I would say that's the best thing, and how you can manage a pressure environment, right? One, of course, the other part of it is planning well, right? So if you plan well, you can handle pressures because you know what kind of problems would come, already, because you have planned for it and you react to it, right? You are not in a not there for surprise when something happens. So planning, relationship building, those are the two things I would say.
Welcome back to Raj Tech Talks, where we bring you real stories, real leaders, and real transformation happening across technology world. Today we have Partha. Partha, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Raj. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Briefly about Partha. Today I'm very excited to introduce a true industry powerhouse, Partha Gopalakrishna. With over 25 years of global leadership experience, Partha has built and led SAP organizations at Infosys, HCL Tech Mahindra, Capgemini, and now he serves as Vice President, Coforge, driving SAP strategy and transformation across North America. Partha has overseen some of the most complex S/4HANA transformations in the world across retails, consumer goods, chemicals, logistics, manufacturing. He scaled multi-million-dollar portfolios, built global delivery teams, and helped Fortune 500 clients modernize their IT landscapes using AI, SAP, BTP, RISE with SAP, and then next generation digital platform. Today, we are going to go deep into leadership, transformation, and SAP strategy and future of AI and the mindset required to sustain excellence at the executive level. So get ready. This is going to be powerful and insightful and packed with value. Let's welcome Partha Gopalakrishna. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Raj. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. Glad to be here. I hope I add some value to the audience here. Good afternoon, good evening, and
thanks
to everyone joining from different parts of the world. Yeah, thank you.
So, your span was 25 years across TCS, Capgemini, Tech Mahindra, and now Coforge, right?
Yeah.
What is your leadership philosophy? How do you go about your ambition, personal ambitions, and how do you perform at a very high pressure executive roles?
Yeah, there are 2-3 things I always follow, and that stems from my early days at TCS. I should say I spent 11 years at TCS, and the leaders I worked with, right, at TCS, many of them became CEOs of multiple companies later. What I learned from them are 2-3 things, right? One is always think big, right? I was a vapor at that point of time, but they tell me don't just look at programming, but look at what this program is going to be used for, right? And how this is going to apply in a business real world, right? And this I'm talking when I was 21 years old, right? So thinking big is one philosophy I have always followed, right? Go beyond what is visible to the common eye, if you will. Second is execution focus, right? All these leaders not just started programs, but they delivered it successfully, right? I have seen that that comes from a rigor, right? Execution rigor on a day-to-day basis, right? Whatever you do, make sure that you just don't look at just the big picture, but also follow it up with a strong execution rigor, right? Those are 2 things I know that has formed the basis of my leadership philosophy, and I till date follow that in everything I do.
So what are your if you were to be my leader, what is that gonna look like? Is it gonna be like a collaborative, or are you going to be more like a strict manager type? Or
no. So everybody has yeah, good question. Everybody has their own style, and it's based on your personality traits. I would say I'm more a servant leader, to be honest. I work with the team. I always, nobody feels scared to talk to me any point of time. In my last 25 years, people have always approached me with anything, right? Even good or bad, they come and tell me. I build that kind of relationship with the people around me. And be it with customers, I'm always transparent, right? Whatever is good or bad, I tell them to the face. I say, this is what it is, this is where we are at this point of time. So people like that. It's again, like I said, it's a personality trait. Everybody has a way of working. For me it worked, so it doesn't mean it works for everyone, but I'm a more servant leader type.
Oh, that's good. Servant leader. That's a new word for me, servant
Yeah,
leader. So
yeah,
I'll take that. And then, how do you sustain pressure situation? Right, you are at an executive level,
yeah,
and you are always required to
yeah.
perform and perform big. How do you sustain that, and how do you build credibility around that?
Yeah. So to answer that, I will say my role a little bit, right, in most of these companies, right. I'm part of the SAP practice, which is like a horizontal in most companies. So there are industry leaders, say, let's say, banking and financial services, insurance, your healthcare. So you have different industry leaders, sales leaders, who I work with closely. Then my SAP practice leaders, and then there are delivery teams. So it's always like a matrixed organization in wherever I worked for, right? Multiple teams you have to work with. So the basis, to work in these kind of high pressure environment is all about building relationships, right? And not when you need it. You have to plan for it and build that relationship over time. So it comes handy when you are in pressure situations, right? You actually, people talk to you differently if you have a relationship versus if you don't have a relationship, right? So if you have a good relationship, always, anything can be solved. Even if you're at a wrong end of things, and you have to solve situations, people believe you and people trust you because you have built that relationship, right? And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes some time, but you have to put conscious effort. Some of my leaders used to tell me that, put conscious effort in building a relationship, right? In the kind of roles we are, the lead as leaders we are, we need to build relationships on a constant basis, and that helps you. And that's all, I would say that's the best thing. And how you can manage a pressure environment, right? One, of course, the other part of it is planning well, right? So if you plan well, you can handle pressures because you know what kind of problems would come, already, because you have planned for it and you react to it, right? You are not in a not there for surprise when something happens. So planning, relationship building, those are the two things I would say.
That's a two good takeaways: planning and relationship building.
Yeah,
So, S for HANA transformation, especially for SAP, right?
yeah,
Everybody goes through the pains. I've gone through the pains in HP,
yeah,
and Mars started. You're a consultant, right?
yeah.
So, before joining Coforge, so how do you lead the transformation teams? What kind of structured project management system you would put in place? So, how do you measure your success criteria against those
Yeah.
transformation projects?
So the first part is in transformation programs is knowing what business metrics or KPIs you are trying to address, right? It could be like days sales outstanding, it could be, days inventory outstanding, it could be any of the business metrics that you're trying to solve. Because at the end of the day, all these programs that we do is going to make the life easier for the business, right? So you need to know what you are trying to address from a business standpoint, and that needs to be known to every person in the team, because whatever you are building, at the end of the day, you are helping a finance organization, a supply chain organization, procurement organization, whatever it could be, right? Or all of them together. So you need to know what KPIs you are addressing, so that way your solution thinking, everything will align to that, how you are doing it. And then throughout the project, of course, the rigor of activate methodology now, right? Making sure you know the deliverables for each of those phase. Now rise with SAP methodology has come in. You understand what kind of tool set you need to use in these kind of programs to make it successful, because without tools, again, like large transformation programs are not possible. So what kind of automation tools you would use in these programs to track them efficiently and make them efficient, right, at each phase of the project. And then, of course, the adoption of SAP post implementation is also important, because Many times we see, S4 is implemented, but users are not effectively using it. So adoption is as well important. So I think by centering the team around that and rallying a good SAP functional technical teams around it and change management team around it is what will make a program successful.
So during the transformation projects,
Yeah.
right? It's a burn rate. How do you some companies, I was at HP, they were burning almost $1 million a day kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So how do you plan for such a big transformation project? Like what do you put in place? What stage case you put in place to lead that kind of a transformation project?
I think it's like breaking down into chunks, right? So always like large programs are not delivered in one shot. So it's always like, maybe a pilot, maybe a phased approach for implementations, right? So kind of break it down into chunks. And then, like I said, having the right kind of deliverables for each phase is another thing, right? And then almost like the agile methodology of delivering these days, right? Not just wait for the users to see the end product like we used to do in the olden days, but kind of show them in a progressive manner, right? So they see things are being done, right? Those are some of the things you put in place to make sure that the project is successful, right? I have some examples of project, right, where you finish the entire implementation. Customers say new to SAP, right? They have never. One of the logistics customer I worked with in the past, right? So they are working in a non-SAP system, right? So you are putting a new SAP system in place. They said, yeah, this is the best practices based implementation, and you did a greenfield implementation for the customer. And then once they saw the product during the testing phase, they said this is totally different from what we have today. They used to customize a lot in their old system, right? So they
Right.
said this is not, I want to, this is having a lot of checks and balance in place. I don't want all this fancy stuff. I need to be able to do things the way I did in the past.
Right.
It's a good example of change management, right? So it's, yeah, we delivered the project as per what the requirement was, but it's not what the user wants, right? So you need to kind of prep them up front, show them things throughout the process, so they are also, their mindset is changing over a period of time, and they use the system as it's supposed to be, right? I think it's all of these are kind of some checks and balance you put in place to make sure that projects are successful.
That's good. That's a good answer. So talk to us about the emerging technologies. I'll come to AI in the last because that's something everybody wants to know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, about AI. So SAP technologies. Now they're talking about BTP, Signavio, Line
Yeah.
IX, Rise, and I don't know what else they're coming up with. How do you keep up with it, and then how do you educate clients? How do you say, hey, let's go to this platform because this is going to do XYZ better, whatever, right? So two things: one, how do you keep up with the technology that is changing, and then how you educate your clients.
Yeah, keeping up, that's again like my personal passion. If you see my profile as well, I always have kept myself up to date with all these technologies through, Learning Hub. I always had Learning Hub access in all of the companies I work for, right? So I take a personal interest in learning some of the newer technologies, say BTP, for example, right? Or recently I did my Joule certification, right? The business AI certification. So I think it's mandatory for me in my job. I need to be, like you said, for the second part, right? For me to educate the customer, I need to be aware of what it is, right? So I keep myself up to date. One is, whatever the resources companies provide and the learning hub. And I always have a group of people who I connect with at LinkedIn as well. So I keep reading whatever blogs they write on the latest, the areas they have learned within SAP, and that's how I keep myself to date, right? So it's, and of course participating in events like Sapphire or TechEd also gives you an idea of what's coming in the new world. So that's the first part of the answer, right? So kind of keeping yourself up to date through events, through learning, and through social media interactions and blogs, etc., right? The other part of educating the customer, that's a tougher part because things are changing every day, right? And customers are all at a different point of their journey, right? Somebody wants to implement BTP, for example, right? But they are in the ECC world, right? They are not in the S4 world. Yeah, can you do BTP with ECC? Yes, you can implement, right? But is it as effective as doing it along with a modern ERP in the back end? Maybe not, right? So it's sometimes, so customers are at different stages, so based on customer situation you will have to learn some more to give a customized solution for a particular customer. But I think everybody is picking up. 2015 is when the first S4 Simple Finance, whatever it was called, right? Simple Finance at that time was launched. But over a period, now customers have seen that many in their industry themselves have moved to the latest and greatest. So I think post COVID has been a good digital driver for many, right? They all have seen that, you need to be in the cloud, you need to have automated systems, you need to have better collaboration with your partners, so on and so forth. So I think people have started adopting in a bigger sense post that. So I think it's easier for us to now talk to customers, educate them, because they are also in that level of maturity.
So now switching gear a little bit, let's go to our AI.
Yeah.
That's a topic of the
Yeah.
world nowadays. How do you say if your manager or your CIO comes to you and say, "Hey, I want to implement AI." How do you approach this? The whole AI. I mean, SAP is one thing, but in general, if anybody wants to use it, AI, how is that? Um, how do we approach that?
Yeah, yeah. So it is like, again, you have to take a step back on what the business problem you are trying to solve, right? Like at the end of the day, you are trying to drive productivity, right? You're trying, and automation or RPAs were the ones, the earlier step where you could do simple repetitive task automation, right? Now we are talking about agentic scenarios, right, where you have a multi-step scenario which all needs to be orchestrated using AI. And now the technology is available, right? So now generative AI is picking up. Joule has come up recently in SAP world, right? But at the end of the day, everything is about what business problem you are trying to solve, right? Somebody gave me a statistics the other day, right? If you are $1 billion company, you need to have 25 people in your finance operations. Okay, so multiply it with how many ever billions the company size is, right? So you look at, so the CFO or CIO would come and say, okay, I have so many people in finance, do I really need so many people, right? So that's how these problems start from, right? Where you look at the productivity of people, where you look at what is the best optimum size of people you need to have in a particular department. Then when you peel it back to the technology side of things, right, what are the kind of activities are they doing, right? Which of them, are they really doing value added activities or not, right? And kind of that's how it starts, right? And then you identify those use cases and then kind of build a AI roadmap, right? That's how the process goes, right? So you say, okay, yeah, finance, these are the three things you could do in finance, right? I was talking to a customer the other day. They said, like, oh, in accounts receivable I have a problem, right? Day sales outstanding is too high. Okay, then you look at that process of what and all they are doing, from the order to cash process. You see that, oh, okay, they are not solving disputes on time, for example, right? So you say, okay, problems is around disputes, that's driving the collection issues, and then day sales outstanding. Then you kind of go back and see, okay, what systems they are using, what process they are following to do that, and then kind of say, okay, yeah, you can fit a AI solution here which will do things automate, for example, right? Or it could predict who are the high risk customers. And then even when you start the order to cash process, okay, if he's a high risk customer, you want the user saying that, oh, okay, he's not going to pay on time, right? Kind of give that warning upfront. So there are real good things AI can do, but it's a matter of finding, again, it all goes back to the same thing, right? What KPI are you trying to solve? Peel back process, then technology, and then kind of put the right solution in place. Sometimes it's SAP, sometimes, like you said, it's a combination of SAP plus non-SAP systems. I think the bigger problem with all that, I'll just stop with one sentence, right? The bigger thing that everybody is facing is the data part of it, right? AI works if the data works, right? So many customers are having data in disparate systems and the data is not clean. So there is a lot of prep work that needs to happen to make a data foundation layer. That's why SAP called it the the AI flywheel, right? So you have the data layer, you have the application layer, then you have the AI layer, right? So it's all the combination of all that three should work in tandem. So data is the foundational layer for AI, I think. So there's some prep work to be done before you put these kind of programs in place.
And other thing, just reading through the AI as this thing, the company has to have a compliance framework done first, right? Because
Yeah,
otherwise you're opening for
yeah,
lawsuits. Like
yeah,
you're scanning resumes, and if the AI goes rogue and only picking certain categories, certain people,
yeah.
then you're bound to have
Yeah,
lawsuits
false
coming.
positives and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's why you need. So they we always say, like, trade with your own data, right? Not just standard data, see, but your own data, right? To understand how it behaves. And then also, it's a learning curve for AI, right? It doesn't work on day one, right? Because it has to learn. Most of these models have to be trained, and once they become experts, then only, once you know the reliability of these, then you do it. Yeah.
And what's your long-term vision for Coforge, where you are now leading North American practice, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's a growing organization, right? So first of all, brand building is a big task for me, right? Make sure that the name is known in the SAP market. Unlike some of the larger companies I worked, which are already like global strategic services providers for SAP, this is comparatively smaller organization. So first is to get known in the market, and then of course build a niche for ourselves, right? So SAP world, like, it's there are so many SIs in the market. So unless you have something niche, it could be a combination of technology plus industry. So I'm finding that sweet spot, and we are building on that. That's the simple answer.
That's good. That's good. Last few minutes, I'll give it to you because I have many questions to ask. I know we don't have that much time. One last question I'll ask, and then I'll let you finish for next 3 minutes after this question.
Yeah,
Is you've been in consulting organization, right?
yeah,
And then you have seen many transformations across, right? So what motivates you in this new chapter that you are in, like you go force? I mean, you come from very big consulting
yeah,
firms,
yeah, yeah,
HCL,
yeah.
Infosys, all that, right? Tech Mahindra. Now
Yeah.
you are in. What is the motivation here?
No, I think building something ground up is always exciting for many of us, right? So, it's like going and fitting into a larger organization and playing a role versus building something ground up is different. And that's a new challenge, right? So nothing is, it's not that one thing is better than the other. It's just at any point of time, like you said, right? You have done different things. So this is a new challenge for me, and that's what is exciting.
Oh, nice. Okay, next few minutes up to you. What do you see the industry going? Where we're
Yeah.
heading? What do you see in your leadership roles in next few years coming for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Raj. So, few things, right? As far as the SAP world is concerned, right? SAP set out this ambition that 50% of their revenues would come from cloud a few years back, and I think they are probably growing at 25% year on year on cloud revenues for the last 10 quarters or so, right? So, SAP is betting big on cloud. While some people like Rise, some people don't like Rise, right? Some of our customers are skeptical about Rise. All said and done, right? SAP's vision is moving customers to the cloud on a subscription model, which is what they are going to, and they are showing no signs of slowing down. So they are going to bet more on that. Eventually, I feel that with BTP coming in and customizations are moving out of the core, I think even public cloud is a possibility in the future for companies. While it was completely out of question many years ago, I'm starting to feel that customers are eventually going to get to like a public cloud model, at least for certain functions, right? Like how SAP is having success factors or Reba. Even the core platform is going to move towards a public cloud model at some point of time, right? This is, I don't know. This is my prediction that it's going to happen at some point, right? Maybe not for all industries, but at least for some. Second is, I think AI is real, right? We have all seen that there is, it's, while the impact can be different for different industries and customers, it is going to play a bigger part, right? And having said that, data foundation is important, right? So it's as important as building the functional and technical skills in the olden days. You need to build stronger data and modeling skills, and building applications using that data, right? So I think the data sphere BDC is going to pick up as well from SAP side, and obviously SAP Analytics Cloud on the visualization side, right? So both for planning and analytics. So I think that I'm hoping that these are all things which people can pick up, and if they are somebody is trying to enter into the SAP world, definitely these are some skills, right? BTP of course is big. I feel it's going to be used heavily for automation, integration, custom development, so on and so forth, right? It's going to be your technical foundation. So I would say if somebody is getting into the SAP world, or even if traditional SAP folks on the technical side should learn BTP, should learn the whole and become a full stack developer as well, right? The olden days of just doing a app doesn't work, right? You need to know what data service you need to do, Fiori apps. You need to also do the RAP and CAP programming, everything, right? You need to have full stack capabilities in the future, right? And functional folks have to build industry knowledge, right? You cannot say I'm a SD consultant, MM consultant anymore, right? You need to have order to cash for manufacturing company, right? Or discrete manufacturing company, order to cash for a chemical company, right? So you need to have sub vertical specialization in the future. I think those are all things which will differentiate you from others. We see so many SAP resumes. I interview so many people every day. Unless you have specialization, it's difficult to get in the get a good role in today's market. I think that's what I will suggest personally. I think we are all here, we all built our careers in SAP. I think it's there to stay, and we will spend another 10 years learning new things in SAP. I'm sure SAP will introduce more and more newer stuff, so looking forward to it.
Thank you, and wish you all the luck with Coforge, and hopefully we'll meet again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Raj. Nice
Thank
meeting
you
you.
so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.